So the Prof and I are back here in London at the, what is this, the Cutty Sark?
Cutty Sark.
What is it?
It's in the Royal Borough of Greenwich. Or Greenwich, if you're from Malaysia. Or
So is this Greenwich time? Is this the same thing, or Greenwich time?
Greenwich Mean Time.
Oh, so it's all here. Like the line's here.
Yeah, the line is just like over there.
How many minutes from here?
About a 15-minute walk or something.
We got to check it out. We got to check it out.
Yeah.
But we're here. So the Cutty Sark, the only thing I know about the Cutty Sark is how much whiskey of it I drank back in the days. That's all I know of Cutty Sark. But
Okay.
can you tell?
Okay, so there's a famous Scottish poem that you probably haven't come across.
It's also a jacket, right?
It's a short vest worn by a lady who was a ghost.
I know my fashion.
In a poem.
Yeah.
But
Okay, well, wait, go ahead. Talk about the guy in the. I cut you off.
He got drunk and got chased home by a female ghost who was wearing a very short vest that he fell in love with or kind of like fancied, and he got the life scared out of him.
That's how they came up with the whiskey name. So we're here in London again, and
why are you here?
oh, I was like gonna actually go into it, but I got like
Okay.
I'm actually gonna be addressing 150 MBA students flying in from Qatar, but forget about that. That's later on today, and that's why
But what
I'm
are you
dressed
talking
up.
about?
Leadership. I'm going to be speaking about leadership. Actually, thought leadership. That's my little take going to be on it. But Professor Wilson and I wanted to change things up, and the reason why, a couple of things. In the past, I've always was sensitive to time and wanted to make the vlog short, but after some comments and direct messages to me, I'm no longer thinking about that. And also, people said that they
You're no longer thinking about time.
No.
You're in Greenwich Mean Time, right? Where Greenwich means time. Right?
Well, I guess.
How very apt.
Yeah, I guess
Okay.
in the sense that I'm not going to be so concerned with we've got to finish it in this amount of time or this many minutes.
Yeah.
And also, people mentioning the whole idea of they like us as a tandem, as a duo, and with that, the dynamics between us, we just decided that for each vlog, we'll probably just bounce off each other. So we're going to come with just an impromptu topic.
Okay.
So right now, Professor Wilson and I decided this a couple hours ago.
Yeah.
And he was now going to surprise me with whatever topic that he's going to hit me with, and we'll just discuss
So
from
what
there.
do you think I'm going to surprise you with?
Is it going to be with business? That's all. Is
it going to be with business?
Is it going to be concerning business?
I saw there was like Filipino food day the other day or something. I thought about surprising you about
Some food.
Yeah, food. But then, right, I'm going to go to LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Wow. Okay.
Right.
What's
So-
on LinkedIn?
Right. I looked at your LinkedIn profile
Oh.
because
God.
I know how much you love LinkedIn. Actually, he doesn't really like LinkedIn. No.
I didn't actually get onto it until 2016, and that's because I was actually forced to get onto it by specific people who were saying it's dumb that you're not on it. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, because you were the guy. I was like, "Why don't you change your profile picture? It looks like you were in Ibiza or something." You were
It was
like,
a great picture from 2003 with all the granularity. Anyway, go ahead.
so
I mean grainy, not granularity.
So
grainy.
after me nagging him or whatever you want to say, right? You decided that you would do the recommendations thing.
Oh, asking people for recommendations.
Yeah, because you were like, I don't care what people think about me. Or like,
Yeah.
But I said, but don't you think the thing was, don't you think in business, recommendations are important?
No, it's true.
Referrals?
It's true.
And then eventually
It's
you're
true.
like, yeah, okay. So you actually got some recommendations. And I don't mean like you went to Sri Lanka and got a load of people just to write random stuff, because I thought I would check that as well. Like, we've all had the Amazon reviews where like it's like 5 out of 5. You got to buy this, or like Mohammed Araldes. You're like like whatever. He's really.
It's
good,
like all the recommendations, like good profile,
yeah,
nice profile,
outstanding, astonishing. I would have no hesitation
It's just
with
straight from a
like,
farm.
yeah, cut and paste. So you seem to have some real genuine recommendations that I don't think you could have written yourself or paid for, right? Because they were quite eclectic. So the one that jumped out at me was one where
Which one?
Miyamoto Musahshi. No, it wasn't Miyamoto.
Wait, what's that?
Okay, it wasn't Miyamoto Musashi who did the recommendation for you, because that would have been amazing, because
Who is that?
he's not alive anymore, but he was Japan's greatest swordsman, right? He was considered a sword saint, right? But somebody in the recommendation mentioned Miyamoto Musashi's Book of Five Rings.
Oh,
Right,
wow,
just-
yeah.
Right, it's a book that I read 20 years ago, and I was like,
Okay.
the Book of Five Rings.
Wow, okay. Okay, I
Do you know who that is?
That was by I'm gonna butcher his name. It's like Ephethemus, Greek guy.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
That's funny that you mentioned that. That's
Okay.
interesting. Why? I don't know why. I'm gonna ask you why, but
Screen grab that recommendation.
okay. Anyway,
for the vlog, right?
anyway,
So you can,
it's
like, go,
I have to admit, that was one of the most flattering, like, comments or something that someone's ever written or
Okay,
said to
question.
me in a very long time.
All right.
So Ephethemus, man, good looking out, bro. That was a hell of a hookup because I read
You're
it.
a well-read guy. I read that book 20 years ago, right?
Hold on. I just want to give
Oh.
Ephethemus his props. That was really flattering, bro, man. Like, you don't even understand. That was such a killer recommendation. I was truly flattered by what you said. But anyway, I'll let you take.
Ephethemus, you're going to get other people wanting you to recommend them, and then you have to read like more books. Like, this could be
Shout
a
out,
business
bro.
for you. Like,
Okay, anyways, I remember it now.
do you know the Book of Five Rings?
I actually don't, dude. So I know the title.
So it doesn't mean like. Okay, go on.
I know the title, and yeah, I'll put a screen grab of the comment because it was
Okay.
really dope, man. Because before, in a previous life, when I started becoming a better person and leaving the dark side, I was captivated by the idea of being a Renaissance man, right?
Okay.
Just understanding numerous arenas in life. Anyway,
Actually,
okay.
what did you ask people
what
in
do
order
you mean?
to get those recommendations?
I asked them, what do you think of me? You know, what would you recommend of me? And what is something that I do or have done that no one else can do or as good, or that I'm just simply the best at, or something like that. It was like 3 questions.
So you reached out to people that
Yeah.
you come across.
Okay, so wait,
no,
how is this all being tied in? Like, I don't get it. Like, how did this? That was a really flattering comment or.
But why do people bother to
recommendation.
reply? Because there's a lot of people that get recommendations or ask for them, and people just ignore them. Why do people bother? Like, because after I said that to you, it's like literally, I don't know, a couple of weeks later, you're like, "Brr, I've got like
Yeah.
more recommendations than a lot of people have over several years. So why do people bother? For you?
So after one of my talks, and I've gotten this, and I'm super grateful for it. But people say that you speak from the heart, and it's genuine, and it like reaches us. So there was one particular girl that said, what really touched me about your talk was that you speak genuinely from your heart, and that was really flattering as well. And I think that's why I may resonate with people. Like the
Okay.
way that I engage with people is trying to be as authentic and just staying away
So
from
that's
all
quite
fake.
a big statement, because sometimes people come up to you and afterwards they go, "Oh, I really enjoyed your talk, blah 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 blah,"
Yeah.
and there's no follow up or whatever it is. But I guess a good acid test is okay if you genuinely think those things. Would you mind like saying them in public?
Yeah, no, and
Spending
it's-
another couple of minutes, and so people actually did that. So I was quite impressed by that. I wouldn't say I was surprised, because obviously, like,
Yeah.
you-
But wait, let's get to this whole
Okay.
5 rings. What stood out? It stood out to me.
right,
but what
because
is-
the Book of Five Rings, it kind of made me think, I'm going to pull this book out again. I'm going to read it because I hadn't read it for like
I only know the
15
title.
years ago
Yeah.
or whatever, and I thought, I want to vlog on this.
Okay. So what
Because
you're
it's
supposed to
deep.
surprise
Alright,
me. So like
so-
I don't understand. Because I can't give anything or contribute to this discussion because I haven't read it. Or did you go back and start reading it?
I started reading it. I started
okay.
reading it.
Oh,
So,
okay. So he
Miyamoto
actually
Musahshi-
he wanted to surprise me, but actually he's going to talk.
I'm going to surprise. The surprise is you're not going to be surprised. Right? So
Okay.
basically, I should actually say I do martial arts, right? And my sensei.
Yeah. Okay. So people
Yeah.
don't know this.
He passed away this year.
Okay, you do martial arts. Go ahead, step back.
Okay.
Because no one even knows this. So
Okay.
you've been doing martial arts. What kind of martial arts? How long? Sensei, give us the who, what, when, why, where, how.
So I think like most people like of our age, man, you like fell in love with Bruce Lee and kung fu movies
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff.
Wu-Tang Clan.
Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah.
Killer bees. But I never actually did martial arts because I used to play rugby, and my parents were kind of a bit anti-martial arts. They thought I'd go and like beat people up or something, right? So the reality is, I reached a moment when, I stopped playing rugby. I'm like, I live in London, like most people, you do a bit of gym, but actually I hate gyms.
Huh.
I love
Okay.
playing rugby and
Okay.
being outdoors and getting wet and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I hate gyms, and so I never found the replacement. And there was actually, the thing that triggered it was someone trying to pick my pocket at a tube station in London. Someone tried to pick my pocket, and like he actually punched me because I went, what the hell? And he was like, boom.
Oh.
I didn't, thankfully, I have to, he didn't knock me out. I didn't, it was the shock of being hit in the face, like, what the hell? It was a bit like playing rugby again when someone punches you and you go like, what the hell? And then he ran off. And then some Rasta guy stopped me and goes, "Yeah, believe in Jah? Yeah, believe in God?" I was like, yeah. He goes, then leave it to God. Because I was like thinking like, do I run after this guy? Do I kick his ass? And then I thought, actually, if I was going to run after someone and kick their ass, could I still do it? And that kind of triggered that whole thing about, so I was like I started Wing Chun Kung Fu. I was like training like twice a week. I did karate. I was like doing that once a week. And then I randomly, there's a friend that introduced me. I came across the swords. So I went to a dojo and I was doing Iaido, which is like doing katas using a Japanese sword, and Kendo, which is the art of fencing, where you wear armor and you have shinai bamboo.
Oh wow!
In the end, I decided that I dropped you can't keep that amount of training and kind of work and everything. So I let karate slide, I let Wing Chun slide, and I just do swords. And
how
that's about 12 years.
And you mentioned your sensei.
Fuji, Okimitsu Fuji, right? So Fuji sadly passed away this year. He had a dojo just across the water. The first one, Kensekai, which means Sword Saint Society.
Wow, okay.
He was from Kyushu. Our crest is like this kind of ginger leaf thing.
So no wonder the comment or the recommendation got you. It caught your eye because this is something.
Because he pretty much brought swords to the UK, and he set up a dojo 40 years ago, and there are loads of dojos, and man, he was amazing. If you think someone that did martial arts for like over 70 years, left Japan over 40 years ago, taught so many people, like, there are people that have got higher grades than me, like, that have been taught by him, 7th dance, whatever. Like, he just spread knowledge. So if I think about my inspiration, like as an educator, as a public speaker, whatever, I take a lot from him because he was amazing at basically the proximity distance was very short, right? So
I can imagine from martial arts, I'm sorry, man, but you've probably picked up all kinds of different wisdoms and
everything. I mean, he had a wicked sense of humor, right? One of the ways that he would disarm people was through he was very nonchalant, and so he would kind of put beginners at ease, and he actually spent more time with beginners than with seniors. But what I realized was over the years, he had me on a shorter and shorter leash. So like, he's the sort of guy that if I was in the corner of the dojo and I'm training and he's focusing on the beginners, and after a hard day's work, I'm like yawning, he'd like come over to me and go like you yawned. And I was like, yeah, I yawned. And so he'd be like, either do it with your whole soul and heart and body, or don't do it at all. Like, there is no in between. But he wouldn't say that to a beginner, so it was kind of like at your level. He's like kind of like, don't yawn. I was like, okay, fair play. He's like, I'd rather that you didn't do a move half-heartedly than like doing a move, whatever. You know what I mean? So I learned a lot from him, and then I kind of got into reading the books, as most martial artists do. You kind of read about the Japanese culture and all that kind of stuff. And Miyamoto Musahshi was the swordsman from Japan.
And who is the author of
the Book of Five Rings?
Okay,
right?
Yeah, not Efthimus.
He, not Efthimus. Like he was a Renaissance man because he did calligraphy. And so what I learned from that was that if you think about Chinese brush calligraphy, it was considered like the sword because you use a brush and ink on paper. So ink is like blood. Like once you make a movement, you can't undo it, right? In calligraphy, right? So people would meditate and do calligraphy and learn the rhythm of the brush. If you go too quickly, then the brush doesn't kind of make the movements it's supposed to. And he did poetry, which was also about rhythm. So learning that kind of rhythm of words and prose and reflecting, I was like, so to become a better martial artist, you're going to do calligraphy and poetry, which is kind of why like you might see me rhyme a few times and kind of all that kind of stuff was pretty much deep. But the thing that people remember about Musahshi was the two-sword approach, Niten Ichiryu, which is basically means like two heavens, one school, or like two swords, one style. Right. Okay.
So you gotta. What does that mean?
Most samurai samurais carry two swords, but they would always duel or fight with one sword, the long sword, and you'd hold it with two hands. He developed a style of using two swords at the same time.
Huh. Okay.
And then eventually he got to the stage where actually you could use like 2 wooden swords, or like just like, you know.
Well, that's like the Arnis, right? It's Eskrima.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
The martial arts and
so there was a long sword and a short sword. So he was unique in kind of in that period of challenging the way that people understood.
Okay, cool.
And then challenging people again by thinking that you shouldn't. Like, he was like, well, okay, we're swordsmen, but actually I don't even need a sword.
What does that mean?
Well, he stopped using swords. He started using like swords made of wood.
Wow.
And then he started writing about things like where even like in a duel, throw your sword. Like, because he was all about surprising the opponent.
Huh. Okay.
The thing about a lot of swordsmen was how to become better at being a swordsman. That meant better dueling, better sparring. And he studied like the landscape. So there were examples when he was supposed to meet someone for a duel and he was purposefully like late.
Okay.
And he stood him up like several days on the trot.
Wow.
And the guy was getting vexed. He was like, "What are you? Don't you want to fight? Are you afraid?" And he was like, he didn't care. And then I think it was on the last day. Forgive me if I got this wrong, but he arrived early.
Huh.
And then the guy was like, "What the?" Ah!
Oh.
Because a duel you have to win, right? It's life and death.
Yeah.
So the element of surprise was he would always take people out of their comfort zone. He would freak them out, like, because they would depend on their sword, or their style, or their school.
Yeah.
And he was basically a disruptor.
Okay.
Not that he wasn't a good swordsman, but if it's about like winning and taking advantage and amplifying what it is that you do, he developed his own school, which you and I would say his, your own lane, basically.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So the element
which has so many applications to business.
Yeah. Putting people on the back foot, element of surprise, they were all really important to Musahshi, and he was a master at that.
So what are, I guess, some of the gems you took? You went back to the book after 20 years.
I think we should vlog on it. I think that we should do a vlog, and we should do like.
So the 5 rings. Do you know? I don't even know what it is.
Okay.
Like I'd lie. So the 5 rings are what? Like
earth, water, fire, wind, and nothingness.
Wow, that's deep. Okay.
Yeah. You're thinking about earth, wind, and fire, right?
Actually, I am.
He's looking at my.
I'm thinking about Cuddy Sark, whiskey, and earth, wind, and fire. So you dusted the book off. After 20 years, took it off your shelf.
Yeah.
Were there any gems that you took from it that you can give to the viewers a little bit, and then?
Oh man, there's loads. I really think we should do a vlog on it.
What do you mean a vlog?
Like
a vlog,
like a series, like Book of 5 Rings.
It's interesting. I don't know if I did tell you this, but I'm actually started vlogging on the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene.
Okay.
And I'm going to be going over, and I already started recording. I don't know if I told you that, but I've already recorded a few. They might actually come out at the same time because there's so many vlogs I've got to release. But let's do that. Let's do a vlog series on the 5 Rings by Musahshi. We'll start that on our next vlog. Cool with you?
Cool.
Anyway, signing off from London, Cuddy Sark. Peace.
Peace.